पुरस्ताद्यमुदा जहार शक्रः विद्वान् प्रतिशश्चतस्रः तमेवं विद्वान् अमृत इह भवति नान्यः पन्था अयनाय विद्यते राजाधिराजाय प्रथक्ष साहिने नमो वयं वै श्रवणाय कुर्महे समे कामान् कामकामाय मह्यमो कामेश्वरो वै श्रवणो ददातु कुबेराय वै श्रवणाय महाराजाय नमः ॐ तद्ब्रह्म ॐ तद्वायुः ॐ तदात्मा ॐ तत्सत्यम् ॐ तत्सर्वम् ॐ तत्पुरोर्नमः अन्तश्चरति भूतेषु गुहायां विश्वमूर्तिषु त्वय्यज्ञस्त्वं वषट्कारस्त्वम् इन्द्रस्त्वं रुद्रस्त्वं विष्णुस्त्वं ब्रह्मत्वं प्रजापतिः त्वं तदापः पूज्योतिरसमृतं ब्रह्मभूर्भुवस्वरम् अद्वैतं विष्णवे चरन्निर्वपति यज्ञो वै विष्णुः यज्ञदेवान्ततः प्रतिष्ठति श्रोत्रजुहोति विष्णवे स्वाहा यज्ञाय स्वाहा प्रतिष्ठायै स्वाहेति नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि प्रचोदयात् साङ्गसपरिवार समेत रमा सत्यनारायण मूर्ति परब्रह्मणे नमः वेदोक्त दिव्य सुवर्ण मंत्र पुष्पांजलिं समर्पयामि ईशानः सर्वविद्यानां ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां ब्रह्माधिपतिर् ब्रह्मा शिवो मे अस्तु सदा शिवो नमस्काराञ्जलिं समर्पयामि. All of you, not the kids but parents, hold a fruit in your hand. Any fruit that you could eat later. Hold it in your hand and repeat after me. పండు చేతిలో పెట్టుకొని రిపీట్ ఆఫ్టర్ మీ. ఇదం ఫలం మయా దేవ స్థాపితం పురతః తవ తేన మే సఫల అవాప్తిః భవేత్ జన్మని జన్మని. మనస్సులో ఏమైనా కోరికలు ఉంటే కళ్ళు మూసుకొని స్వామివారిని మనస్సులో ధ్యానం చేసుకొని ఆయనకు ఆ కోరికలన్నీ చెప్పి ఆ పండుని మండపం మీద గుర్తుగా పెట్టుకోవాలి. మండపం అంటే ఆ నవగ్రహాలు పూజ చేసిన దాన్ని మండపం అంటాం. దాని మీద గుర్తుగా పెట్టుకోండి. కథలు అయిపోయిన తర్వాత ఎవరి పండు వాళ్ళే తినాలి. మీ పళ్ళు మారిపోతే మీ కోరికలు మారిపోతాయి. So I'm going to read the stories in English as there are a lot of other devotees also who are sitting there who do not understand Telugu. So if I read it in English, everybody can understand it. Keep the fruit in front of Satyanarayana ji and then hold some akshatas, everybody. Atha katha prarambha. In the audience, anybody wants to read the stories? Devotees, anybody wants to read the stories? अथ कथा प्रारंभः ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे शरदिन्दुविकासवन्दहासां स्फुरदिन्दीवरलोचनाभिरामाम् अरविन्दसमानसितरास्याम् अरविन्दासनसुन्दरीमुपासे गुरवे सर्वलोकानां निधये भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां लक्षणामूर्तये नमः एकदा नैमिषारण्ये ऋषयः शौनकादयः अप्रच्छुरानतं सर्वे सूतं पौराणिकं खलु. श्री सत्यनारायण व्रत कथा, the first chapter.
Chapter 1. Once Shaunaka and 88,000 other rishis assembled at the forest Naimisharanya. They asked Maharishi Suta, the narrator of the Puranas, "O Maharishi, please let us know how mankind can attain salvation." Maharishi Suta answered, "Once Narada Muni asked Lord Vishnu the same question. I will tell you with Lord Vishnu told Narada, so listen carefully. Once Narada, during one of his travels to the various worlds, came to earth. There he saw the people suffering as a result of their past deeds. To reduce their sufferings and bring them salvation, Narada went to Vishnu Loka. There he found Lord Vishnu decorated with Sankha, Chakra, Gada and lotus in his four hands and a garland around his neck. Narada spoke humbly, "O Supreme Lord, the Savior of the poor and the troubled, I surrender at your feet." Lord Vishnu asked, "Narada, why have you come here? Tell me what you want and I will fulfill your wishes." Narada replied, "O Bhagavan, People on earth are suffering in many ways as a result of their own past sinful deeds. Kindly reveal to me a way to help them. Lord Vishnu replied, O Narada, mankind can rid itself of all its sorrows by performing a puja called Satyanarayana Puja. When performed properly, this puja will bring happiness, peace of mind, and wealth in his life and salvation beyond. On hearing this, Narada was filled with joy and addressed Lord Vishnu, O Lord, please tell me the details of the puja that you just mentioned, when to perform it, how to perform it, and who has performed it before. Lord Vishnu answered, this puja can be performed any month on a full moon day. One must gather his friends and relatives, perform the puja with devotion. Amma. He should offer fruits, ghee, milk, curd, butter, wheat flour, sugar and honey to the god. After the puja is over, he must read the Satyanarayana Katha and distribute prasads to everybody. When performed in this manner, this puja will bring fulfillment of one's wishes. Particularly in the Kali Yuga, this puja brings contentment.
बोलो सत्यानारायण भगवान की जय। अथ द्वितीयोऽध्याय प्रारम्भः।
Chapter 2. Maharishi Sutta continued addressing the assembled rishis. O rishis, I will tell you about people who performed the Satyanarayana Puja in the past. Once there lived a very poor Brahmin in the beautiful city of Kasi. He did not have food to eat. He used to wander in search of food every day. Lord Vishnu took the form of an old man, appeared before the poor Brahmin and asked, Friend, why are you wandering aimlessly? The poor Brahmin replied, Sir, I am a very poor man, unable to bear the hunger. I beg for alms. Sir, can you please show me a way out of this misery? Lord Vishnu, who was in the guise of the old man, replied, O Brahmin, Lord Satyanarayana grants his devotees' wishes and removes their sorrows. So you should perform his puja and reap its benefits. Lord Vishnu then explained the details of the Satyanarayana Vratha to the poor Brahmin and disappeared. The poor Brahmin immediately decided to perform the puja. After a sleepless night, he got up early in the morning and went to beg for alms. His mind was fixed on only one thing, namely the puja. That day he got a lot of money. He bought fruits, milk, curd and honey. He performed the puja with his relatives and friends. With Lord Satyanarayana's grace, he shed his poverty and lived a contented life. Every month on the full moon day, he performed the puja and finally attained moksha, which is called salvation. In this manner, Maharishi Sutta explained the significance of Satyanarayana Puja. The rishis again addressed Maharishi Sutta, O the great one, please tell us about others who performed the puja. Maharishi Sutta continued, one day when the Brahmin was observing the Satyanarayana Vratha, a woodcutter entered his house and asked for water. He noticed the Brahmin was performing a puja. He asked what the puja was and what good it would bring. The Brahmin replied, this is called Satyanarayana Vratha. Anyone who observes this Vratha will get all riches. I have been bestowed with prosperity. Sri Satyanarayana's story. The woodcutter was delighted to hear this. He learned the proper way to perform the puja. He also took the prasad that was offered and went his way. With Lord Satyanarayana in his mind, the woodcutter decided that he would observe the Vratha with whatever he was going to make by selling firewood that day. He went to that part of the city where rich people live. He sold firewood and made twice the normal profit. Pleased with his luck too, he brought bananas, sugar, ghee, milk, honey, and wheat flour. He invited his friends and relatives and performed the Satyanarayana Puja. By Lord Narayana's grace, he acquired enormous wealth and lived comfortably and attained moksha.
स्कान्दपुराणे देवाखण्डे द्वितीयोऽध्यायः समाप्तः। सत्यनारायण भगवान् की जय। अथ तृतीयोऽध्यायः प्रारम्भः।
Chapter 3. Maharishi Sutta continued, O rishis, I will now tell you another story. In the olden days, there lived a wise king by the name Ukamukha. He had mastered all his senses and always spoke truth. He used to go to the temple every day and give gifts to Brahmins. His lotus-faced wife was a pure and pious woman. One day, the royal couple was performing the Satyanarayana Puja on the banks of the river Bhadrashila. At that time, a merchant called Sadhu sailed by. He saw the king perform some puja and stopped his boat. He got off and addressed the king humbly. O king, would you kindly tell me what you are doing with such devotion and concentration? The king replied, O Sadhu, I have no children. I am worshipping the Almighty Lord Satyanarayana so that I may be blessed with children. On hearing this, Sadhu spoke humbly, O king, please tell me how to perform this puja. I would like to observe the vratham, so I too have no children. The king told him all the details. Sadhu returned home and with great joy told his wife about Satyanarayana Puja. They then decided to perform the puja after the child was born. Then by the divine grace, Sadhu's wife Leelavati gave birth to a beautiful daughter. They named the child Kalavati. One day, Leelavati reminded her husband of his promise to perform puja. Sadhu told his wife that he would do the puja in the time of his daughter's wedding and got busy with his work. In the meantime, Kalavati grew up into a lovely girl. Sadhu sent out messengers to find a suitable bridegroom for his daughter. One of his messengers found a good-natured and handsome boy in a Vaishya family from Kanchananagar. Sadhu found the boy to be a suitable match for Kalavati and celebrated his daughter's wedding in a grand manner. But Sadhu completely forgot about the Satyanarayana Puja and angered Lord Satyanarayana. Lord Satyanarayana placed a curse on Sadhu. One day Sadhu went to a business trip with his son-in-law. He stopped to trade the Ratnapura, which was ruled by the King Chandraketu. At the time, some thieves robbed the king's treasury and were running away. The king's soldiers chased them. The frightened thieves threw all valuables they had robbed near Sadhu and escaped. Finding the king's treasure near Sadhu and his son-in-law, the king's soldiers arrested them and brought them to the king. The king ordered them to be chained and thrown into prison. Because of Lord Narayana's Maya, nobody even listened to what Sadhu had to say in his defense. King Chandraketu also took all their merchandise. Sadhu's wife was also affected by Lord Narayana's curse. Some robbers broke into her house and robbed everything. One day Sadhu's daughter Kalavati was very hungry and went out in search of food. She wandered here and there and stopped at a house where Satyanarayana Puja was being performed. She stayed at their place until the puja was over and took the prasad that was offered. When she reached home, it was late night. Leelavati asked her where she had been. Kalavati told her mother that she was listening to Satyanarayana Katha in somebody's house. Then Leelavati remembered her husband's promise to perform the puja. She decided to observe Satyanarayana Vratha herself. She invited all her relatives and friends and prayed to Lord Satyanarayana to forgive their sins. Lord Satyanarayana was pleased with Leelavati's prayers. Lord Satyanarayana appeared in King Chandraketu's dream. He ordered the king to release the two merchants from prison as they were not the real thieves. Lord Narayana warned the king that his kingdom, wealth and children would all be destroyed if they failed to release Sadhu and his son-in-law. Next morning, the king told his counselors about his dream. He ordered Sadhu and his son-in-law to be brought before him. Sadhu and his son-in-law were frightened and were stood before the king with bowed heads. The king talked to them gently and said, "You two have suffered a great deal because of your faith, but there is nothing to fear." The king returned the merchandise, gave them new clothes and lots of gifts and sent them home. Chapter 4. Chapter 4. Sadhu and his son-in-law loaded their boat with the riches given to them by the king and sailed homeward. Lord Satyanarayana wanted to test the Sadhu further. He took the form of a sage with a trident. He appeared before Sadhu and asked him what he was carrying in his boat. Sadhu did not realize that the sage was indeed Lord Satyanarayana in disguise. He laughed mockingly and said, "You Brahmin, were you thinking of stealing my things? We do not have any valuables in the boat except empty vessels." The sage replied, "O Sadhu, so will be it." The sage then departed and stood by the seashore. Sadhu was horrified when we went into his boat. He saw that the boat was filled with empty vessels, just as he said falsely to the sage. Sadhu fainted, seeing that. He was revived by his son-in-law. Son-in-law said, "This must be the curse of the sage. Let's go to him and ask his forgiveness." The two merchants then went to the seashore where the Sadhu was meditating. They fell at his feet and repeatedly begged him for his forgiveness. Pleased by Sadhu's devotion, the sage said, "Sadhu, do not weep. You suffer because you have broken your promise many times. On hearing this, Sadhu realized that the sage was Lord Satyanarayana and said, "O Lord, even Brahma and even other devas cannot understand your form completely. With my limited knowledge, how can I? Please show me your true form and bless me." Upon hearing his prayer, God was pleased and granted his wishes, restoring his merchandise in the boat and disappeared. The two merchants then joyfully sailed homeward. On reaching their hometown, they sent a message to their wives about their safe arrival. At that time, Leelavati and Kalavati were performing Satyanarayana Puja. Leelavati quickly finished the puja and asked her daughter to do so. She then hurried to the seashore to meet her husband. Kalavati was eager to meet her husband. She forgot to take the prasad and rushed to the seashore. This angered Lord Satyanarayana. His Maya caused the ship and her husband to disappear in the sea. Not finding her husband, Kalavati started weeping. Everyone was wonderstruck and frightened. Sadhu did not know what to do. Thinking that it was Lord Narayana's Maya, he announced that he would perform Satyanarayana Puja and pray to the Lord. Lord Satyanarayana was pleased to get Sadhu's devotion and said, "O Sadhu, your daughter did not take the prasad in the hurry to see her husband, so I made him and the boat disappear. Let her go home and take the prasad and return." On hearing this, Kalavati went home and took the prasad. When she returned to the seashore, she found her husband and the boat to be safe. Then Sadhu returned home happily. He performed the Satyanarayana Puja every full moon day with his relatives and friends. With God's grace, he enjoyed all the comforts in his world and finally attained salvation. Maharishi Suta continued, "Let me tell you another story of a king named Tungadvaja, who suffered a lot after refusing the Satyanarayana Prasad. One day, after hunting, the king was resting under a shady tree. Some cowherds were happily performing Satyanarayana Puja nearby. The king refused the prasad offered by the cowherds. When he reached the palace, he found that his kingdom, his 100 sons, his wealth and everything vanished. Then it occurred to him that Satyanarayana was probably angry with him. He went back to the cowherds, prayed to Lord Satyanarayana and performed the puja with great devotion. Lord Satyanarayana showed his blessings and the king regained everything he had lost earlier. He lived happily and ultimately reached Vaikuntha. Maharishi Suta said, "O holy men, I have narrated to you the Satyanarayana Kada, which was originally told by Lord Vishnu to Narada Muni. By observing this vrata, mankind can attain salvation in this Kali Yuga. Observance of the vrata can lead to fulfillment of one's wishes." This ended the narration of Maharishi Suta, after which Shaunaka and Rishis returned to their respective places.
श्रीमद्रमारमण गोविंद गोविंद बोलो सत्यनारायण भगवान की।
Keep your fruit in front of Satyanarayana ji, some sprinkle some water and show it 5 times. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavitravarinyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nः Prachodayat Tattva Satyena Varishinchami Amrtamastu. Sangha Saparivara Sameta Rama Satyanarayana Murti Parabrahmane Namo Namaha Yatha Bhagam Phalani Nivedayami. Show it 5 times. Om Pranaya Swaha, Om Pranaya Swaha, Om Yamaya Swaha, Om Samanaya Swaha, Brahmane Namaha. Madhya Madhya sprinkle some water. Madhya Madhya Paniam Samarpayami, Hasto Prakshalayami, Pado Prakshalayami, Mukhe Achamaniyam Samarpayami. Mangalharati ikkade istamu, ikkada నుంచి ఇందాకట్లాగే చూపించాము.
ఓం శ్రియః కాంతాయ కళ్యాణ నిధయే నిధయేర్థినాం శ్రీ వెంకట నివాసాయ శ్రీనివాసాయ మంగళం. లక్ష్మీ సవిభ్రమాలోక శుభ్రో విభ్రమ చక్షుషే చక్షుషే సర్వలోకానాం వెంకటేశాయ మంగళం. మంగళాశాసన పరైర్మదాచార్య పురోగమైః ఆచార్యై సత్కృతాయాస్తు మంగళం. ఆనందమంగళ నీరాజనందనుషయామి నమస్కరోమి. బోలో సత్యనారాయణ భగవాన్ కీ. లక్ష్మీ రమణ గోవింద గోవింద. మహాలక్ష్మీ మయ్యా కీ.
Everybody be in Namaskara Mudra and then repeat after me. Aparadha Sahasrani Kriyante Aharnisham మయా దాసోహం ఇతి మాం మత్వా క్షమస్వ జనార్దన. ఇవాళ మనం చేసిన పూజలో తెలిసి కానీ తెలియక కానీ మనం ఏమైనా తప్పులు చేసి ఉంటే క్షమించమని దండం పెట్టుకోండి.
యదక్షరపదభ్రష్టం మాత్రాహీనం యద్భవేత్ తత్సర్వం క్షమ్యతాం దేవా నారాయణ నమోస్తుతే.
Now husband is holding some akshatas in his hand, wife is giving some water, and then you are supposed to leave that akshatas and water into that bowl.
అనేనా యథావకాశ నియమబద్ధేన రమా సత్యనారాయణమూర్తి వ్రతేన చ భగవాన్ సర్వాత్మకః సర్వం శ్రీ రమా సత్యనారాయణమూర్తి దివ్యచరణారవిందార్పణమస్తు. ఉత్తరే శుభకర్మణ్య విఘ్నమస్తు భవంతో బ్రువంతు. ఉత్తరే శుభకర్మణ్య విఘ్నమస్తు. సత్యనారాయణ భగవానికి.
సత్యనారాయణ స్వామి వారి దగ్గర నుంచి ఒక పువ్వు తీసుకోండి, భార్యకి ఇచ్చేస్తే అవకాశం ఉంటే తలలో పెట్టుకోమా లేదా తగిలించి పక్కన పెట్టండి. మగవాళ్ళు ఏమో అక్కడ నుంచి కొన్ని అక్షత గింజలు తీసుకొని తల మీద మీరు వేసుకొని భార్యకి పిల్లలకి వేయండి. ఆ తర్వాత స్వామివారికి సమర్పించినటువంటి ఫ్రూట్స్ అవన్నీ మీకు ప్రసాదంగా ఉంటే మీరు తీసుకొని వెళ్తారు. మిగిలినవన్నీ కూడా అక్కడ వదిలేస్తే ఐ థింక్ వాలంటీర్స్ విల్ బి టేకింగ్ కేర్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్. అండ్ యూ ఆల్ క్యాన్ స్టాండ్ అప్ అండ్ దెన్ ఐ థింక్ దెర్ ఈస్ అ కవర్. You have a cover, I guess. You can put everything into the cover and carry with you. And then whoever are sitting in the puja, if at all you want to give any dakshina to the priest, you are welcome to do that. So please come up here, have the darshan and give them prasadam over there. Volunteers collect chestar. Volunteers will be collecting things with you. Is any volunteer up there? Okay. So while you are coming,